My girlfriend said, "I need space, don't contact me for a while." Then posted vacation photos with her ex. I respected her wishes, changed the locks, and sold her car that was in my name. This happened about 6 months ago, but I'm finally ready to share because I'm in a much better place now. My 34M ex-girlfriend Kayla, 31F, and I had been together for just over 3 years. We had what I thought was a great relationship. We lived together in a house I bought 2 years ago. We had talked about marriage, the whole deal. She drove a car that I helped her get when her old one died about a year into our relationship. It was nothing fancy, just a 2018 Toyota Camry, but it was reliable and she loved it. Since her credit was terrible at the time, I put the car in my name with the understanding that she'd make the payments. The arrangement worked fine until... Well, I'm getting ahead of myself. About 2 months ago, I noticed Kayla becoming increasingly distant. She was always on her phone, working late, and generally disinterested in spending time with me. When I tried to talk to her about it, she brushed it off as work stress or said I was being paranoid. I'm not typically the jealous type, but something felt off. Then came the talk. She sat me down one Friday evening and told me she needed some space to figure things out. She said she felt suffocated and needed time alone to clear her head. The conversation ended with her saying, "I need space. Don't contact me for a while. I'll reach out when I'm ready to talk." I was devastated but agreed to respect her wishes. She packed a bag that night and said she'd be staying with her friend Emma for a bit. I didn't argue. If she needed space, I'd give her space. I thought maybe some time apart would help us both gain perspective. The next morning, I woke up to an empty house that already felt different. I tried to keep myself busy with work and projects around the house, anything to keep my mind off wondering what Kayla was doing or thinking. I kept my promise and didn't text or call her. 2 days after she left, I was scrolling through Instagram when I saw something that made my stomach drop. One of our mutual friends had liked a photo of Kayla at a beach resort. Curious, I checked Kayla's profile, which she rarely used, and there they were, a series of photos of her enjoying a tropical vacation. But she wasn't with Emma. She was with her ex-boyfriend, Mark. There were multiple photos of them together, drinking cocktails on the beach, watching the sunset, in a fancy restaurant. Her caption on one photo read, "Sometimes you need to go back to remember why you left in the first place. Or maybe to realize you never should have left at all," red heart emoji. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. I need space wasn't about her mental health or our relationship, it was code for I want to test things out with my ex without technically cheating on you. To make matters worse, I realized she was on this vacation driving the car that was in my name, that I was still making payments on because she had forgotten to transfer money to my account the last 2 months. That's when something snapped in me. If she needed space, I'd give her all the space in the world. First, I called my lawyer friend to make sure I was on solid legal ground with what I was planning. He confirmed that since the house was solely in my name and we weren't married, I could change the locks. He also confirmed that since the car was in my name only, legally it was mine to do with as I pleased. The next day, I had a locksmith come and change all the locks on the house. Then I called the bank and explained the situation with the car. Since I was the legal owner, they directed me to a dealership that would buy it back. I was still underwater on the loan by about $2,000, but at that point, it felt like a small price to pay for my dignity. I sold the car the same day. With the locks changed and the car gone, I went through the house and boxed up all of Kayla's things neatly. I didn't damage anything or throw anything away, I'm not that petty. I just packed everything carefully and moved the boxes to my garage. Then I waited. For 2 weeks, there was radio silence. No calls, no texts, nothing. Just daily Instagram updates of her tropical getaway with Mark. Each post twisted the knife deeper, but I remained resolute. She had made her choice. Then one evening, I heard a car pull up in my driveway. Through the window, I saw Kayla getting out of an Uber, suitcase in hand, looking tanned and relaxed. I watched as she walked confidently to the front door and tried to put her key in the lock. Confusion crossed her face as she realized her key no longer worked. She tried again, then started knocking on the door. I took a deep breath and opened it. "What's going on?" "My key doesn't work," she said, more confused than angry. "I changed the locks," I replied calmly. "What? Why would you do that?" Now she was starting to look worried. "You said you needed space. I'm giving you space. All of it." She stared at me, trying to process what was happening. Then she seemed to remember something. "Where's my car?" "It wasn't in the parking spot." "I sold it," I said, maintaining my composure. "It was in my name, and since you've missed the last 2 payments, I decided to get rid of it rather than damage my credit further." The color drained from her face as the reality of the situation sank in. You sold my car? How am I supposed to get around? All my things are here. Actually, they're not. They're boxed up in the garage. As for the car, it was never your car. It was always mine, legally speaking. You can call an Uber to take you and your things wherever you're planning to stay. She started to cry then, those big crocodile tears I'd fallen for so many times before. I thought you said you'd give me space to figure things out. I didn't think you'd do something like this. I did give you space. You just used that space to vacation with your ex-boyfriend in the Bahamas while driving a car I was paying for. Did you really think I wouldn't find out? Instagram exists, Qley. She tried to argue that it wasn't what it looked like, that Mark had just happened to be there too, that they had run into each other. I just held up my hand to stop her. Your boxes are in the garage. I'll help you load them into your Uber, but after that, I think it's best if we don't contact each other anymore. She switched tactics then, from crying to anger. You can't just throw me out. We've been together for 3 years. I live here. Your name isn't on the deed, you haven't contributed to the mortgage, and we weren't married. Legally, you were a guest in my home. A guest who decided to vacation with her ex while telling me she needed space. I could see the wheels turning in her head as she realized I had thought this through. She tried one more approach. What about all the time we spent together? Doesn't that mean anything to you? I made one mistake. Was it a mistake when you packed your bags? Was it a mistake when you booked the tickets? Was it a mistake when you decided to lie to me about staying with Emma? Was it a mistake every time you posed for those pictures? I shook my head. That's not one mistake, Qley. That's a calculated series of decisions that showed exactly how much our relationship meant to you. We stood there in silence for a moment, the finality of the situation hanging between us. Finally, she wiped her eyes and straightened her shoulders. Fine. Help me get my stuff. I helped her carry the boxes to the Uber driver, who looked uncomfortable witnessing our breakup drama. As she got into the car, she turned to me one last time. You'll regret this. You won't find anyone who loves you like I did. I just smiled sadly. Maybe not. But I'd rather be alone than with someone who thinks I need space is code for I want to test drive my ex without consequences. And with that, she was gone. The aftermath was what you'd expect, mutual friends taking sides, her family sending me angry messages, her showing up at my workplace once to create a scene, security escorted her out. She even tried to claim I had stolen her property by selling the car, but my lawyer friend quickly shut that down with documentation showing the car was legally mine. The weeks that followed were hard. 3 years is a long time to be with someone, and despite her betrayal, I missed the person I thought she was. I went to therapy, hit the gym harder than before, reconnected with friends I had neglected during our relationship, and focused on my career. About a month after our breakup, I heard through mutual friends that Mark had broken things off with Qley again. Apparently, the vacation was great, but real life was another story. She tried to contact me a few times after that, calls, texts, even a handwritten letter apologizing and asking for another chance. I didn't respond to any of them. 2 months later, I saw on social media that she was dating someone new and had moved to another city. Good for her, I guess. As for me? I'm doing better than I expected. The house feels like mine again. I bought a new car that only I drive. I've even started dating casually, though I'm taking things slow. Sometimes I think about what would have happened if I had just forgiven her and taken her back. Then I remember those Instagram photos, the casual cruelty of her betrayal, and I know I made the right choice. If someone tells you they need space, sometimes the best thing you can do is give them all of it, permanently. Update, 3 months later. Wow, I never expected this post to become one of the top posts on this sub. The support has been overwhelming. Since so many people have been asking for an update, here's what's happened since my original post. First off, I want to address a few common questions from the comments. About our joint possessions, there really weren't many. We kept separate finances, and most furniture was mine from before we moved in together. The biggest joint asset was the car, which as I mentioned, was legally mine. So the separation was actually pretty clean from a financial perspective. Several people asked if I ever found out how long she'd been in contact with Mark before all this happened. After talking with mutual friends, I learned they had reconnected about 2 months before she asked for space. So the whole work stress excuse was likely just a cover for her texting him. Classic. For those suggesting I should have kept the car and made her pay for it, I thought about it, but honestly, I just wanted a clean break. The $2,000 loss was worth my peace of mind. Now for the actual update. About 2 weeks after I posted this, Qley showed up at my house again. This time, she brought her mother along, apparently thinking I wouldn't turn her away with her mom present. They rang the doorbell around dinner time, and when I opened the door, I was genuinely shocked to see them both standing there. Qley's mom immediately launched into a speech about how young people these days give up too easily on relationships and how I needed to be mature enough to work through problems. I let her finish before calmly explaining that her daughter had taken a romantic vacation with her ex-boyfriend while telling me she needed space for her mental health. The look on her mom's face was priceless. Apparently, Qley had fed her some story about me overreacting to her taking a personal vacation to clear her head. I invited her mom in for coffee, just her, not Qley, and showed her the Instagram posts that Qley had since deleted but that I had saved screenshots of. Her mom was silent for a long time, then apologized for barging in. She left with Qley, and I overheard them arguing all the way to the car. A few days later, I got a text from Qley's mom apologizing again and saying that she had no idea what really happened. She mentioned that Qley had been struggling with the consequences of her actions and had moved back home temporarily. I appreciated her reaching out but made it clear that while I had no ill will toward her, my relationship with her daughter was over for good. As for Qley herself, she's tried several approaches to get back in touch. The guilt trip, she sent a long email detailing how she'd lost her job, not true, according to mutual friends, couldn't afford a new car, and was suffering from depression. I didn't respond. The nostalgia play, she mailed me a package containing photos of us and small mementos from our relationship with a note saying, "Remember when we were happy?" I donated the items to Goodwill. The changed person angle, she created a new Instagram account, since I had blocked her old one, just to message me about how she's been in therapy and has realized her toxic patterns. I blocked that account too. The mutual friend approach, she's tried to use several of our mutual friends to relay messages. Most have refused, but one did pass along that she just wants 5 minutes to apologize properly. I declined. The unexpected run-in, she somehow found out which gym I've been going to and coincidentally signed up there too. After seeing her 3 days in a row, I spoke to management about the situation, and they were surprisingly understanding. They helped me adjust my schedule, and I haven't seen her since. The most dramatic attempt came about a month ago. I arrived home to find an expensive bottle of whiskey, my favorite, on my doorstep with a card. The card had a hotel name, room number, and time written inside with the message, "I'll be waiting." No strings attached, just closure. I poured myself a glass of the whiskey while I deleted the card and put the rest of the bottle in my liquor cabinet. I never showed up at the hotel. On the positive side, my life has improved significantly. I've been promoted at work. Without the constant drama at home, I was able to focus more on my career and complete a major project that caught my boss's attention. I've reconnected with old friends and made new ones. I joined a hiking group and have been exploring trails I never knew existed just an hour from my home. I've lost 20 pounds and am in the best shape of my life. Regular gym sessions and a better diet have made a huge difference in how I feel physically and mentally. I started seeing a therapist to work through my trust issues from this relationship. It's been incredibly helpful. I've been dating someone new for about 6 weeks now. We're taking things extremely slowly, and she knows my full story. She's patient, kind, and most importantly, honest about what she wants. We have a no games policy that has been refreshing after what I went through. I bought a new dining table and redecorated the living room, small changes that have helped make the house feel completely mine again. As for Mark and Qley? A mutual friend told me they tried dating again for about 3 weeks after our breakup. It ended when he discovered she was still texting other guys. Apparently, she's now back with an ex from before me, not Mark, another guy. From what I hear, they're already having problems, but that's not my circus anymore. The best part of all this has been realizing how much mental energy I was expending worrying about Qley's moods, checking her stories, and walking on eggshells to avoid conflict. The freedom from that constant anxiety has been life-changing. I still occasionally have moments where I miss the good times we shared, but they're becoming less frequent. I'm learning to trust my instincts again and recognize red flags earlier. If someone's actions don't match their words, I pay attention to the actions. Thank you again for all the support, advice, and even the tough love in some of your comments. It really helped me stay strong during a time when I might have otherwise wavered and taken her back out of loneliness or habit. I'm proof that there is definitely life after betrayal, and sometimes it's a much better life than you had before. Final update, 1 year later. It's been exactly 1 year since the original post, and since many of you have continued to message me asking how things turned out, I figured I owed you all one last update. Life has settled into a good rhythm now. The woman I mentioned in my last update? We're still together and things are going great. We moved in together 3 months ago, and yes, both our names are on the lease this time. She's everything Qley wasn't: honest, direct, and genuinely supportive. The no games policy is still going strong, and it's amazing how much smoother a relationship can be when both people just say what they mean. I haven't heard directly from Qley in about 7 months. The last contact was a drunk text at 2 a.m. that just said "I miss us." I didn't respond. According to social media, she's single again and has moved to another state for a fresh start. Good for her, genuinely. I hope she figures things out. The most unexpected development came 2 weeks ago when I ran into Mark, the ex she went on vacation with, at a business conference. I was prepared for awkwardness, but he actually approached me and offered to buy me a drink. Over beers, he apologized for his role in everything. Apparently, Qley had told him we had already broken up when she reached out to him. He only learned the truth when he saw a text from me pop up on her phone during their vacation. That's why he ended things so quickly after they got back. We're not friends or anything, but it was a surprisingly mature conversation that helped bring some final closure to the whole situation. As for me, I'm in a great place now. The promotion I mentioned before led to another one. Therapy has been transformative, and I've maintained the healthy habits I developed after the breakup. The trust issues are mostly resolved, though I still occasionally catch myself looking for red flags that aren't there. My therapist says that's normal and will continue to fade with time. Looking back at my original post feels like reading about someone else's life. It's strange how something that felt so devastating at the time now feels like just a chapter in a much longer, better story. If anyone reading this is going through something similar, it gets better. The pain fades, the lessons remain, and eventually, you'll be grateful for the experience that forced you to grow. This is my last update. Thanks for being part of my healing process, Reddit. You all helped more than you know.